Hello, hi everyone. I am Sanjay Gupta. I welcome you on Sanjay Gupta Tech School. So, you can see today is day 40 and we are going to learn about SOQL in this session. And I hope everybody is doing great and enjoying IPL as well. So, let's just start learning SOQL and I can see lots of folks have joined and I will be waiting for a couple of more minutes so that more students can join and then we'll be starting today's session. So this is week number 11 and day number 40 and you can see the topic is SOQL in Apex. So I'm just waiting for a few more folks. So good evening, Shashi, Badal, Nusrat, Venkat. So numbers are increasing. I can see 45 are live now. So I'm waiting for a few more. Hello, Jyoti. Hello, Kanchrala. Gobi Krish. Good evening. Okay, so I think we are 60 plus. So I'm just starting with the session. So you can see the topic is SOQL. So today we are going one step ahead so that we can learn how we can write SOQL so that we can play with the Salesforce data with the help of Apex, right? So moving forward, so if you started joining this bootcamp from this week only, so this is about me. So you can go through this slide and you know like what I did and how much experience I have. And like this week, these best practices are very much important because in this week we are going to learn about SOQL, SOSL and DML. And all three topics are very much important, right? So what you need to do, you just need to follow all the sessions properly so that you can understand the concepts and you will be able to implement those in your org, right? So whatever practice we'll be doing. So moving forward, like I always say you, consistency is the key. So please do regular practice and I can see lots of folks are doing practice on regular basis. So almost everybody completed admin project, right? And we'll be doing the same project for development as well. So it will be enhanced and like development related stuff will be available in that project soon. So do regular practice and today first I will be explaining all the topic and will give you a demonstration as well and then we'll do Q&A, right? So for discussions, you can join self-help group on Telegram. So you can just ask questions there or you can ask questions in the comment section. And here you can see like soon we are going to complete Apex as well this week. And from next week, I will be starting Apex Trigger. So Apex Trigger is also a very important topic. So if you want to understand that, so you just need to maintain consistency so that everything you will be able to understand. And if you have not followed this platform on these different social media platforms, so just follow so that you receive timely notification. And I hope this week I will be sharing the details about our one more bootcamp and that will be starting mid of April. So keep following these platforms and share the information with others as well so that they can also get benefit through this tech school, right? Because no YouTube channel will ever give you free content for such a long duration, right? So I'm helping folks to learn. So your responsibility is to share the information as much as you can, right? And cybersecurity is very demanding these days. So initially we are planning for 4 to 6 weeks module. So we'll see how your feedback will be and accordingly we'll be having different modules for cybersecurity. And recent days you see like there is recession and lots of folks, freshers are searching for jobs. So cybersecurity will open your doors for freelancing, right? So we'll also guide you how you can become a freelancer in that field. So if you are not having any job, you have enough time, so you can just explore that area and you can build your career as a freelancer. So we'll be having soon a session. So I will be connecting you with the speaker, and he will guide you more on that front. Okay, so share as like I already told you, whatever I will commit, I will like perform, right? So I just showed you we'll be doing these sessions in future. So cybersecurity is lined up, it is planned, and will be available in the middle of this month. And for other boot camps, I am in discussion with other consultants. So soon you will hear about those as well. Okay, so before starting, I just want a favor from you, those who are online. So, like yesterday, someone told me like he's from VIT Vellore, and I am very happy like my channel reached to that esteemed organization. So I just want to know like from which company, from which college you are joining this bootcamp. So I just shared a LinkedIn post in the chat, in this live session chat. So if you go to that chat and if you can share like from which college you are associated, or which company, in which company you are working, so it will motivate me like how widespread my channel is. So this is just a request. If you want, you can share. If you don't want, that is not a problem. But I want huge support from your side, because I am doing this for the community. So if you share your information, so maybe from those companies or colleges, more students will be connecting and they will also get benefited, right? Okay, so I hope you will share. And from today's session, what I will do, I will share this chat as well when I will be answering your questions, right? Because folks are requesting like please share the chat, so that if they watch the recording, so they will be having enough information like what question I am answering. Okay, and this is the LinkedIn post. So after the session I will check. So right now if I refresh this page, so I don't see much comments. So I can see only 5 comments here. So after the session I will expect like at least 50 comments should be there, having name of your college, from where you graduated, or the company in which you are working. So it is not a shame, like if you share that information, so it will boost me, right? So I hope you will share that knowledge and make this platform big, because it is growing day by day. So if you share that information, so more people will be benefited. And whenever you are writing your company name or college name, just tag that through @, so that they also get a notification like this free platform is spreading so much knowledge totally free of cost. Okay, so with this, let's start today's topic. It is SOQL in Apex. So I hope everybody will support me, and will show you the LinkedIn post after the session. So let me know like how truly you follow me, right? So I will check that, and I hope everybody will be posting a comment in the LinkedIn post. Okay, so if we talk about SOQL, so it basically stands for Salesforce Object Query Language. And if you want to get or fetch your existing data, so basically for that purpose we use SOQL, right? So what we need to do, we need to understand like how we can write SOQLs in our Salesforce org. So we have 3 different ways where we can write SOQL. So first one is anonymous window, where we can write code for temporarily. Then we have query editor, where we can just write SOQL and we can see whether we are able to fetch the data or not. And last is Apex class methods, where we can just write the code permanently and it will be saved permanently in your org, right? So moving forward, so this is a simple SOQL, and in few of the sessions I already used SOQL also. So if we understand this statement, so it is having two keywords, SOQL keywords, that is select and from. And in between select and from, we just need to specify the name of the fields that we want to query. So if I compare SOQL with SQL, so you might have heard about SQL also. So in SQL, basically, if you want to fetch the data, so we just write select then asterisk. But that asterisk is not supported in SOQL. In SOQL, whatever fields, values you want to fetch, you just need to specify them by writing the API name of that particular field, right? If you write asterisk, so you will be getting an error, right? And after from, you just need to specify the Salesforce object API name. Okay, so if you are working with standard field and standard object, so you don't need to use __ C. But if you are working or dealing with custom fields and custom objects, then for sure you need to write __ C. Okay, so this is the simple SOQL that we'll practice through these three different ways, right? So first is anonymous window, second is query editor, and third one is Apex class. So one by one, I will be explaining each and every platform where you can just write your SOQL so that you will get enough knowledge. And like viewers are increasing, that is good. And just coming here, so if I press Ctrl+E, so here you can see this is our anonymous window where we can write some code temporarily. So here I will show you how you can write your SOQL. Okay, so if you want to write your SOQL in anonymous window, so first of all, you just need to remember whenever you write SOQL, so the result of SOQL will always be a list. The result of SOQL will always be a list. So if I want to query some data from account object, so what I need to do, I need to write list of account, name of list is ACC list, then I'm writing select ID, name, phone, industry, then in next line I'm writing from account. So this way you can just write your SOQL, right? So whatever data will be fetched through this SOQL, that will be available in this ACC list. And if you write system.debug, so here you can just write ACC list, and whatever data you will be fetching, that you can just display in the debug and you can check whether it is showing some results or not. Right, so I hope this way you understood how we can write SOQL in anonymous window, how we can store the result into a list. And if you are working on any different object like contact, opportunity, or any custom object like position, job application, so you just need to create list of that particular type. Okay, and if we want to test it whether it will work or not, so just click on execute, logs will be opened, and in the logs you will be seeing the debug value. So it is working. Actually, I queried all the account records, whatever is available in the org, so it is taking some time. So what is best practice? Like instead of querying all the data, just apply some limit here so that limited number of records will be queried. So today I will also explain like how we can apply some conditions here with this after the object, right? So that particular records will be fetched. So again, I am executing it. So this time it is showing some data, and you can see this way the data is available, which is showing here. Okay, so whatever field value is available, that is available, like ID, name, industry. If phone is not having any value, that won't be displayed. If industry is not having any value for particular record, so it is not displayed. Okay, so this is the simple way to understand how we can write our SOQL in anonymous window and how we can check whether it is showing particular data or not. If you want to show the result in different lines, so what you can do, we already understood the loop. So what you need to write for account ACC and then ACC list, right? And inside this loop, you can just write your system.debug statement. So in this way, what will happen? The data will be displayed in separate lines. Okay, and it will be displayed in different lines, so it will be readable. Okay, so this way you can execute it. So I am executing it so that you can see the results. So here you can see results are available in different lines. It is more readable. Okay, so whenever you just want to debug the list, so this is the best way to debug so that you can just read the data properly. So this is the first way which I explained you, anonymous window. Now I'm going to explain the second way, which is query editor, right? So if you want to run the same query in the query editor and you don't want to create a list, you don't want to show the result through system.debug. So what you can do, here at the bottom, you can see this little arrow. If you click on it, so you will be having this panel, and here under fourth tab, you can see it is query editor. And if I zoom it, so it is showing enter SOQL or SOSL query. And some placeholder is available, which is showing like how you can write your query. So you can type here, or if you have copied from somewhere, you can paste it. So I'm just typing it here. So this way you need to write your query. Okay, so here you don't need to use square brackets, right? Remember, here you don't need to use square bracket. Okay, and Apex is basically case insensitive, but still you need to follow the best practice. So if you see this query, so here select, from, limit, all these are keywords for SOQL. So I'm writing them in uppercase so that you can easily identify like which keyword is used in the SOQL, right? But if you write your SOQL totally in lowercase, then also it will work. But it is suggested always write the code as per best practice so that your code can be understandable by other developers as well. Okay, now after writing this, at the bottom left corner, you can see we have one execute button. So if you click on that button, okay, it is showing some error. I just need to remove that semicolon. So remember, in this query editor, you don't need to use semicolon also, right? So if you use semicolon, so it will give you an error. If I write semicolon, so this way you will see the error, unknown error parsing query. Okay, so it is not showing what error actually is, right? But it is showing there is some error. So you just need to figure out what is the error, and then if error is resolved, then if you click on execute, so you can see the results. IDs are available, names are available, and industry is available. So here you don't need to run your code to see the debug logs and iterate a loop. So here result is directly available here. Okay. And if you double click, so you can provide some value as well. Let's say I provided media here, and if I click outside, so I can just click on the save rows. If I click on save rows, so the data which I added here, it will be updated in the actual record. So from here, you can just update field value as well, whatever you have queried. Okay, if you want to create new, you can. If you want to edit the page, open detail page. So this will be accessible in the Salesforce. And these are the query grids. So insert row, delete row, refresh grid, save row. So these are the buttons. If you click accordingly, operations will be performed, right? And at right bottom corner, you will see history. So for that purpose, I am going to change my location so that you can see the history. So at the bottom right corner, you will see the history. History means whatever SOQLs you have executed so far, that will be available under the history. Okay, so let's say I'm changing something here. Along with industry, I'm just going to fetch type as well, and I'm clicking on execute. right? So at bottom right corner, you can see there are two SOQLs available. So this actually maintains the history, like what SOQLs you have executed in past. So this way you can keep a eye on this, and if you want to see like what you executed earlier, so you can see it from here and then you can just recall. So this way, through this query editor, you can just practice. If your query is working here, then you can just copy and use that query in your actual code. So this actually works like this way. Okay, so query editor is very useful. Just test your query here, and if it gives you proper data, then in that case, what you can do, you can just copy this SOQL and you will be able to use it in your Apex class or anonymous window. So now I'm going to show you how you can create Apex class and have SOQL implemented. We already did, but now I'm going to do it one more time so that you can just revise the concept. So Apex class name is SOQL demo, and here I'm going to create a method. So naming it as query demo, and here I'm going to implement the code, and I'm replacing myself at bottom right corner, sorry. So here I'm going to write the code. So again, what I need to do, I need to create a list, and then inside square bracket I can paste the SOQL. Okay, so what happened here, the SOQL which I tested in the query editor, I just copied, and if you want to use your SOQL in Apex code, so you just need to enclose it in square bracket, right? So this way you can just write your SOQL, and then whatever operation you want to apply on this ACC list, you can. Okay, so I hope this way you understood like how we can implement it in Apex class. So here, if you want to iterate a loop, so you can do. Now the difference, the same code we implemented in anonymous window, the same code we are implementing in this Apex class. The difference is the code which we are writing here, it will be saved permanently, and the code which we wrote in anonymous window, it is temporary. It won't be saved permanently, right? So it is always suggested to implement Apex class so that you can just deploy that Apex class from one org to another. Okay, so I hope all three steps are clear now to everybody. Now moving forward, so here we have some optional SOQL clauses. So first one is where, that I'm going to explain you. So what we are going to do, so I'm just removing this, so just shifting it below. So this way also you can just write your SOQL so that it will be more readable. So we need to select ID, name, industry from account. Now instead of limit, I'm going to write where industry equals to media. So this is where clause, simply we can apply. Like, so wherever industry is media, only those records will be queried, and through this loop they will be displayed, right? And if you want to run this SOQL through this query editor, so you can just copy this piece and you can just test it out. But we are going to test it from this place. So first of all, I'm going to save this class. Now I'm going to run this code through anonymous window. So SOQL demo dot query demo. So I'm going to run this. So logs are opened. I'm just checking debug only. So here you can see only those records are queried where industry is media. And we have 5. Okay, 5 account records are there where industry is media. Okay, so this way I just applied where clause where industry equals to media. Now, if you want to apply end condition, like industry equals to media, and let's say, let me just check account particular field that we can pick. So I'm just picking rating field. Okay, so rating equals to hot. So only those records will be queried where industry is media and rating is hot. So if both are populated on particular record, then those records will be queried. Now again I'm going to execute it. So this way I hope you understood how we can apply AND. Okay, so these 5 records queried, I think there is some catch. Let me just run it here as well. Oh, sorry, I just forgot to fetch rating field. So I'm just writing rating as well here and here as well. So first I'm going to test it here. So all these 5 records are having rating as hot. Wherever industry is media, rating is hot. Okay. So if I run it now from this way, so in the logs also you will see the same result. So here you can see industry is media and rating is hot. Okay, so whatever field you are applying in where clause, if you want to see the data for that field, so you just need to use that field in this select clause. So with this select keyword, if you use that particular field, then only its value will be displayed. Okay, so I can see lots of questions are there in the chat. So right now I am not picking any question because it will break the flow. So I will be picking the questions when session will be completed. So one by one I will try to answer each of your question. So next is OR. So now we just need to understand how this OR works. So basically OR means either industry is media or rating is hot. So the record which is having industry media, that will be queried. The record which is having rating as hot, that also will be queried. Okay, so this is the difference between AND and OR. AND means both the conditions should be satisfied. OR means at least one should be satisfied. Okay, so I'm just saving this code and I'm going to run it. So this time you can see lots of records queried. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 records queried. And somewhere you can see industry is media, rating hot. So industry media, rating hot. So wherever like industry is media or rating is hot. So at last you can see industry is energy, but rating is hot. So if rating is hot, then also record will be queried. If industry is media or rating is something else, then also record will get queried. Okay, so this way you can just apply OR in your where clause. Right? Now next we have in. In means if you have more than one values, then how you can use that. So right now I'm just removing it. So in means like media, then here I'm writing energy. So this way I can write the SOQL. So where industry in these two. So it can have 2 or more than 2 values. So this is basically a list. So here media and energy are the values. So if industry is having media or energy, any one from these two, so those records will be queried. Okay, so first of all I'm going to save the code and then I'm going to run it so that we can see the results. So here you can see media, industry is media and industry is energy. So 3 are energy and 5 are media. Only those records are queried where industry is media or energy. So this way you can apply this in operator. Okay, so I explained you 3 operators and or in, right? And right now we applied these operators on fixed values. We can apply these on variables as well. that I'm going to explain you later. So here you can see we will be understanding how we can use variables in SOQL. So that I will be explaining later. First, let's complete this one. So here we have one more thing, that is limit. So I think limit we already covered. If you want to fetch some limited records like 10, 15, 20 without any condition, random 10, 15, 20, 50 records. So what you can do, you can just apply a limit and those number of records will be queried. And I think these records we already queried with the help of limit clause. So now next we have order by. Order by is basically used for sorting purpose. So I'm going to use it. So where industry equals media, then order by name ASC. Right, so I just saved it and I'm going to execute it. So here we are going to see the result, and if you notice, names are arranged in ascending order. Right, names are arranged in ascending order. Okay, because of that SOQL. So here I used order by name. So basis on name field, sorting is done, and ASC means ascending. If you want descending order, so you need to write DESC. So I'm just saving this code, and if I execute it now, so this time you can see records are in descending order. XYZ1 is in first place, then 301, 201, and so on. So this way, if you want to apply some sorting operation, so you can do. And then we have nulls first or last. So here you can write nulls first. So order by name, if particular record is having name as blank, if name is null, so those records will be available first. So right now, if we apply same condition, so we don't have any account where name is null because name is required. But if you pick any other field, so basis on that, if that field value is not available, so those will be available first, and where the value is available, they will be available after that. So nulls first and nulls last. So as per the name, you can just apply it. Okay, so this slide is done. I hope you understood whatever I explained. Now let's understand how we can use variables in SOQL. So this is also important to understand. So here I am using a field industry, and here I am writing media. Okay, and I'm just removing this as well, this where clause. Okay, so here in place of media, I need to use this field. Sorry, I need to use this variable. So if you use a variable, in that case, you need to apply this colon sign as well. If you use a variable in SOQL, so you need to write it like this. So this industry is the field, then equals to colon, and then variable name. Okay, so if you don't use variable and write the value directly, then this colon sign is not required. But if you use a variable, then you need to write it like this, equals to and colon sign. So this is part of syntax. Now if you save it, so it will be executed. So there is no error, and if we run it, so accordingly we will get the results. So here you can see we are having the results. Okay, so this way, if you want to apply some variable, so you can do. Right, so on account, we have annual revenue field. So if you want to try integer, so that is also same, like variable data type will be integer, and you can apply it on numerical field, right? So you just need to apply equals to and colon sign. So let me just try it on annual revenue. So I just need to know the API name of annual revenue that I will be using. So under object manager, I'm moving to account, and under fields and relationships. So this is annual revenue field API. I'm just copying it and I'm going to paste it here, writing greater than equals to, and I'm just commenting it. Then here I'm creating integer AR equals to, and let's say 10,000. Okay, so this way I'm just writing the SOQL and it is giving me an error. So variable does not exist. Okay, so here we need to use AR. So only those account records will be queried wherever annual revenue is greater than 10,000. So this way you will be writing where clause if you want to use any integer type of variable. Okay, so I hope this way you understood it. So I'm just saving it and I'm going to execute it. So you can see these are the records where annual revenue is greater than 10,000. Now you might be thinking why annual revenue is not showing, because it is not available in the queried field. So in place of rating, I'm just having annual revenue now. And if I execute it again, so now you will see the results. So you can see the annual revenue is available here. And all those records are queried where annual revenue is greater than 10,000. Okay, so this way I hope you understood how we can use variables in SOQL. It is pretty simple. Now if you want to apply and or, so you can just write and here you can just pick another field and just compare it with another variable. So and or in everything is same, right? So I think that you can practice at your own. So whatever I am demonstrating in this session, so everything you need to practice at your own so that you also can understand whatever we are discussing. And if you are on the system, you can do it right away so that you can save your time. If you want to do it later, that is also welcome. But this session is very much important. If you want to understand triggers, test classes properly, so you just need to know the SOQL properly. If you don't know the SOQL, then it will be a difficulty for you to understand other features, right? And now I am going to show you how you can use collections in this where clause. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's say I'm going to query some records. So here I'm writing limit 10. Okay, now I'm just creating a set as well. So for demo purpose, I'm just creating a set of ID. Right, so I'm going to show you how you can just use a set in SOQL. So I'm just filling its data. Okay, so here what you can understand, in this ACC list 10 account records information will be available. Then through this loop we are just adding IDs into this set, and from here I'm removing all these fields. Okay, now what I want to do, I just want to query account records whose ID is available in this set. Okay, so I'm just copying this line, pasting it again, and here I'm creating one more list. So let's say ACC list 1, and here I am writing name, industry, annual revenue, right? And here after from, I'm just writing where ID in, then colon ACC IDs. So this way, if you want to use a set in your SOQL, you can. Okay, so this is a set, And if you use a set, so set is basically a variable. So earlier I showed you, like in parenthesis, we just entered industry like media, energy. So that was a list that we created through parenthesis, and we enclosed two values into that. So at that time we didn't use this colon. But if you use a variable, then colon is must. So in is the operator, and then colon, and then this ACC IDs. So now what will happen? The account record whose ID is available in this set, only those account records will be queried. Right? So I hope this way you understood how we can use set. So similarly, you can write list. Similarly, you can write map. But if you use map, so you just need to write map.keyset or map.values, because map has two things, keys and values. So you just need to specify you want keys or you want values. So those key set and values method you can use, so that particular part can be sliced off and it will be available in the SOQL. Okay. Now, so this piece is complete. Like with this explanation, I hope you understood how we can use variables in SOQL. Okay, so I'm just repeating this part once again because someone is asking. So what I did, I just created a set, then I just implemented a SOQL, which is querying 10 account records. Then I just iterated a loop on that 10 account records, and then IDs are adding into this set. Now my requirement is, basis on this set, I want to query the records. So I'm just demoing you. The same records will be queried with some more fields information. But if you have a collection of IDs in a set, so this is the way you can apply a condition, where ID in colon, then name of the set. Okay, so whose account ID is available in this account IDs set, those account records will be queried automatically. Right, so I hope this way you understood. So the difference is, if you use variable, then you need to use colon sign. If you use value directly, then you don't need to use colon sign. Okay, so this is the last part of the session, that is to understand aggregate functions, like how we can apply aggregation on SOQL. So this is important. So first of all, I'm going to explain you count. So what we can do, I'm just going to use this query editor now, and removing it, then shifting it to top. Then here I'm writing count. Let's see what happens. It is showing error. So here I'm writing count ID. Okay, so let me put name. I think I used ID there as well, so that's why it was giving error. So I'm just implementing it again. No. Okay, actually what is happening, we cannot run this query here. So my bad. Actually what will happen, it will return some value. So we cannot write it here. Anyhow, we just need to use it in the class. So I'm just closing it. We can just use it here. So integer count equals to, and then this way we can write. So I'm writing where clause, where industry equals to media. And then I'm writing system.debug and count. Okay, again it is showing some error. So field must be grouped or aggregated name. Okay, so I think I am just missing something. Count name. Let me see now. I hope it will work. Okay, I think I cannot use it. Yep. So it is saved now. It is showing legal assignment from list to integer. Okay, so let me just remove this part as well. Don't know why it is not working. Okay, let me just execute it. So I'm going to run it in query editor now. Okay, here it is working. So if you see, if we remove all other fields and we just count it basis on particular field, because it will give you total number of records. So no need to write other fields. If you have only one field, so basis on that, it will count number of records. So total 46 records are available in the org. So that value is available here. I am not sure why it is not returning value here. So it should be stored in this variable. So it is showing like it is returning a list, but it should return an integer. So what we can do, we can just write it in the system.debug. I am just commenting it. Okay, now it is saved. Let's see what system.debug will display. So I'm executing it, selecting debug only. So here you can see it is showing expression 0 equals to 46. Right, so this way we are able to use. So I think we can store the result into list and then we can just extract. But we rarely use this in Apex. So if you just want to count, so in this query editor, basically you can use it. Okay, then if let's say I write industry, so let's see what happens if I click on execute. So here you can see it is counting 17 only. So now it is counting basis on the industry. So on account records, wherever industry is populated, it is just counting only those. Okay. Now what we can do, we can use another function, that is count distinct. So basically it is counting all the industries, right? It is counting all the industries. So let me just see if we can show industry as well. No. So if I use distinct count, okay, sorry, count distinct, it is just reverse. So I'm just correcting it. Yes, so here you can see distinct industries are 10 and the industry which are repeating. So if we count that way, so they are total 17. Okay, so this way you can use count and count distinct. Right, so here you can see in the chat someone pasted the list syntax that you can use if you want to store the aggregate result. So basically we need to use that list. So I was missing that at that time. So if you use that, so your grouped result will be stored there. Okay, so you can use it, but for practice you can just run it in query editor directly so that you can see the result. And syntax you can find in like on Google. So whatever syntax will be available, you can just copy and use that. Now I'm just going to use annual revenue. So I'm picking annual revenue field and it will show the minimum. So minimum is 20,000. Then if you want max, so you can write max, so it will give you maximum. So all account records, if we consider all account records, so maximum annual revenue is this. Then if you want to see average, so you can just write average. So this way you will get average of all annual revenues. Those are available in different account records, right? And if you want to calculate sum, so you can just write sum, so that will be calculated. Sorry, so if I just click, so this is the sum, right? So this way, I hope you understood how we can apply them. And if you want to learn more, so you can just search for the syntaxes on internet, and like you can just use these in your code as well. Okay, so I hope this way you understood like how we can just use aggregate functions. So tomorrow we will be discussing about multiple queries like parent to child, child to parent SOQL. So today we just understood like how we can apply queries on single object, right? Tomorrow I will explain you how we can apply SOQLs on more than one objects, right? So that will be like parent to child SOQL. So if we apply SOQL on account, so through that we can query contacts as well. If we apply query on contact, so through that we can get account information as well, right? So this way we'll be able to understand that. Now I am jumping to the chat so that I can answer your questions. So here is the chat, so it will be available in the video, so that if someone is having any doubt, so they can see. Okay, before that, let me just see how many responses I got. So I'm just refreshing this LinkedIn page and we'll see. Yeah, very less responses. So I think you are not truly following. So no worries. If you want, you can just share the information later on as well. And it is just a request. So link is available in this chat. If you want to share your college or company, you can. So now I'm just going to take all the questions one by one. Okay, so Shilpa is asking for session on Workbench and platform event. Yeah, that I will do. And Salesforce Inspector I already explained. So it is just an extension to Google Chrome. So you can just search and you can just add it on to your Chrome. Yeah, Jigna, I know you are following from day one. Thank you for that. Gayatri is asking, is SOQL case sensitive? No, SOQL is case insensitive, but I would suggest to have a case sensitivity while writing Apex code, right? Because later you will be working on Aura and LWC where you will be implementing JavaScript, and JavaScript is basically case sensitive. So if you have a common theme in your mind like case sensitivity, then it will be good. Yes, Mayur, for conditions we use where keyword. So Sandeepa, how many number of records we can query? So I think we can query 10,000 records. So let me just show you. This is a good question. So if you go and see the logs, we are opening the logs. So let me just run one code again. So if I run this code, so here you will see in the logs, you can see number of records that we can get. So if I go to the bottom, so here you can see number of query rows. So not 10,000, it is 50,000. So if you see this number of query rows, so we are getting 21 records, limit is 50,000, right? So this is a proof where you can just check. So why keyword in capital? So I already explained it, because so that if you implement it, so other developer will identify it clearly if you write it in capital. But if you write it in lowercase, then also it will work. So access modifier I already explained. So generally we use public. Yes, Praveen, we can use SOQL in for loop. So that I will be explaining tomorrow. SOQL in for loop, and parent to child and child to parent SOQL, and SOSL. So let me just note it down so that I remember. So I will be explaining. So SOQL for loop I will be covering tomorrow. So difference between static and dynamic SOQL. So static will be like fixed, and dynamic will be dependent on the inputs. Like you can just pass strings there as per the requirement into the variables. So that will be considered as dynamic, which depends on the parameters. Okay, so in later sessions we'll be seeing like how we can implement dynamic SOQL. So yeah, it is shift plus tab if you want to align your code. Yes, Mayur, we can. But if you are having lots of options like media, energy, and 4 5 more, then in that case this in is very easy to use instead of this or operator. Yes, Ferris, we will be covering test classes. So there also we will be using these SOQLs. Okay, so Vishal is asking if we want to query annual revenue between 1000 to 100K. So you can just apply and. So how you can do that? It is very simple. So I'm just closing. Okay, so what you can do here, we have annual revenue. So you can just apply it like this, where annual revenue is greater than equals to. So we can just type value directly, then and again you can copy it, and less than equals to 100K. So this way you can apply the condition. Okay, so moving forward, can we with the relationship? Yeah, that I will be Rajesh, your question will be answered tomorrow. Then what is the difference between equals to colon and in colon? So I think this I already explained. Equals to we use when we have two parameters. In we use when we have list, set, and map. Yes, such an integration we'll do after the Apex trigger and test classes. Once this Apex piece will be completed, then integration will come in the picture. Yes, Shilpa, we can apply a null check. Actually, this I already explained last week, so I didn't use. I just focused on the SOQL part today. But if you use loop, surely you can apply null check. So here you can apply null check like this. If ACC list dot size greater than 0, so here you can just write it. So this way you can apply null check. Okay, so Archana is asking we should use group. Okay. Yeah, so this is the syntax for aggregate. So you can just use it. So whatever result is returning, so it will be stored in this aggregate result. So you just need to study about this aggregate result so that you can understand. So just go through. I will figure out some examples and will mention those examples in the exercise sheet so that you can practice. Otherwise, all examples are already explained in the session. So you can just practice those. Once again, discuss count distinct. Yes. So basically, what I did, I just use count first. So count, what count does? Count basically counts number of records wherever annual revenue or other field, whatever you are using, is populated. Okay. Now, if you use count distinct, so it will count unique records. If the same value is available in another record, so it won't be counting that. Okay, so for example, we have 5 records. 2 records are having annual revenue as 1000, 2 are having annual revenue as 2000, and 1 is having as 3000. So count distinct will be counting it as 3. 1 for 1000, 1 for 2000, and 1 for 3000. And if we use count, so it will be 5. Yes, Ajay, you are right. Aggregate function only used in group by clauses. So I will just have those example. Actually, I have not taken those example. I just took this topic so that it can be executed from query editor. So for Apex class, I will be having few examples tomorrow for this aggregation feature. No, we cannot implement validation rule through SOQL. Vinay, this is good question. Tooling API in query editor. This also I just need to figure out because I never used it. It is not used frequently. So tooling API is a feature, but I just need to figure it out. So if I get proper answer, I will explain it tomorrow. Okay, thank you, Sanchit. Yes, Ajay answered this like how we can write aggregation in Apex. So select count ID, comma name from account, group by name. Yeah, name basis on name it will be grouped by, and having count ID less than equals to 2. So this way you can just write it. So I will have few examples tomorrow and will explain it in detail. Right? Yes, Reeker, asynchronous Apex will be added in the bootcamp. Okay, Jana is asking to explain bind variable one more time. So it is very simple. What we did, we just created a variable here. Let's say AR. So right now here I am using 10,000. So in place of 10,000, what I need to use? I just need to write AR like this. And if you use variables here, so you need to use colon sign, because if you write the variable, so colon sign should be there. So Satyam is asking no vacancy for freshers. So I would suggest just try for freelancing and focus on that bootcamp for cybersecurity. It will help you have freelancing work. Okay, so that is all I can help. It is due to recession, so we cannot do. We can just prepare, and I am helping you in that front. So you just need to search for the jobs. Otherwise, just do freelancing, whatever you can do. So Praveen, this question is very good. How we can count related list? So this also I will try to cover tomorrow, because I just need to check whether we can apply count on related objects or not. Okay, so there is one question. What happened? So someone is asking, Aditya is asking, I am not able to go live. Custom object in object manager. I don't find create option. So just check whether you are logged in as system admin or not. So if you log in as system admin, then I think you will be able to see that option. So Bindu is asking, will the data type for the result of the SOQL query will always be list? Yes. Whenever we apply SOQL, so it always returns list. So Divya, I think if you want to understand for loop, so you can just see the last session. Last week I discussed for loop in detail. So if you see that, so you will be able to understand it quite well. Okay, so you can find that link here in the session tracker. So here is this day number 39. So here you will be able to understand loop properly. Yes, Jana, I will be covering SOSL. For cybersecurity, if you don't have Salesforce knowledge, then also it will work. So in Salesforce, cybersecurity is one job profile, but cybersecurity is associated with other ecosystems as well. Very goody, this nested list maybe we'll see tomorrow. Okay. So to retrieve data from min-max, we need to create list, aggregate. So this I will explain tomorrow in detail. Don't think much about aggregation function. I will have some examples for you. Aditya, I don't think this could be the reason. So if you have this issue, so just find someone who can connect online and help you out. So you can just ping in Telegram group if someone is available to join on a call with you. So that way you can take help. Yeah, so Saida Reddy is asking SOQL limitations, so that I will be covering in the best practices. So we'll be having one session on Epic's best practices where all the limitations we will be covering. So one, like if you want to see the limitations here directly, so we have this log. So here are the some governor limits. So these are the limitations that you need to apply. So in one transaction you can have only 100 SOQL. So you just need to write SOQL properly, carefully. Don't write too much SOQL. Then how many number of rows we can query. So this is the limit. SOS, SL, DML. So all these limits are available here. So you can just go through. And whenever logs open, so if you go to the bottom, then you will find these information. So Babu is asking, in 2 weeks you want 4 years of experience. So this is not a good question. Just first learn, then try to think about the experience. So it is for 6 months. If you learn for 6 months, then only you will be able to understand things. Then decide like how much experience you have. I don't think you can just write 4 years. It is a lot. Okay, thank you, Vishal. So Raghav is asking, will you explain how to get parent ID from object permission? I didn't get your question. So Saikiran, I didn't understand your question as well. Can you please elaborate? So Raghav, CPU time limit exceeded means you have implemented such a complex logic which is taking more time to execute. Let's say you have implemented lots of nested loops. So in that case, CPU time limit hit. Yeah, so Rekha, I just need to check this whether we can use aggregate functions in parent to child or not. So tomorrow I will be showing you more examples on aggregate functions. So I'm just adding it here also so that I remember. Okay. Yes, Mayur, we can use like keyword as well. So this is also not covered today. So let me just note it down so that I can cover it tomorrow. So in map, how will use SOQL queries? So we use map in SOQL. So how to use map in SOQL, that I can explain right now. So what I need to do. So here, let's say if we have a map created, map of ID, comma account, ACC map. Okay, so what you can do, so here you can just write ACC map dot key set. So this way you can write. So all the keys will be available and it will be compared with this ID. And if you want value, so that also you can have. Okay, Ganesh is asking, can we use Visual Studio IDE for Apex programming? Yes, you can. So Raghav, I didn't get your question properly, like data loader. So get parent ID for objects to give permission. No, I didn't get this question properly. Maybe you can just reach out to LinkedIn or Telegram, then we can discuss. Yes, Shilpa, we can add a workbench. So after Apex, just remind me. So I will be having one session on workbench as well. Okay, so I think I answered all the questions related to today's topic, and tomorrow I will be covering whatever is left. So we'll be seeing aggregation function again. And today I didn't updated the exercise sheet, so I will be updating that as well. And till the time whatever I explained in the session, so just practice that properly. Okay, and whatever we will be discussing is available in the Excel sheet. And just share this information with everybody so that they can also learn the things. And let me see how many responses I get. Yep, now I think people are responding, so that is good. Okay, thank you so much for this, and I hope I explained everything, and thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Yes, Shilpa, platform events also. Just remind me after Apex completion so that I remember. Platform event and that workbench, both will be covered. Thank you so much, everybody. See you tomorrow, same time. Thank you for joining the session.